My man! Welcome to the show. How are you? Really excited as a parent and as a person of color to have our guest today. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hey guys, it's Orphan. I am really proud to have my next guest, Deborah Blakey, here with us today. She is, not only does she have a beautiful smile, she is a shining light out there. You know, when you're down and out, when you're not feeling good. Every time I speak with Deborah, she usually sets me straight and helps me focus on my goals. So Deborah, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
So listen, you know, you've been a client with Rooster Lee for a while. And we work with clients all over the country, all over North America, about 2,000 individual small business owners. And I like to connect with as many people as I can. And when I connect with somebody who's got that extra, you know, energy or positivity, I always want to know what makes them tick, how they started their business, what their journey was, how they got to where they are today, because running a business is not easy. There's a lot of ups and downs. So if you wouldn't mind, talk us through a little bit, you know, how you started your business, why you started it, and what led up to saying, hey, you know what? I don't need this job, or whatever was going on at the time. I'm going to go do my own thing. If you could start with that would be great.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you know, you said a lot, but let's get to it. To be completely transparent, which I don't know any other way to be, I actually always felt in my heart of hearts that there was more in me, always. And I've always wanted to do more and reach people. I have that desire, you know, to reach people, to help people, to guide people. So all my life, I feel like in my adult life that I have been on a mission to better myself, get out the best version of myself so that I can help others get out the best version of themselves. So where it all started, though, was tragic. It was a tragedy that happened in my life. I was 13 years old and shy. And I lived with my mother and grandmother, was brought up in poverty. And my mother had high blood pressure. She came home one night with a headache. My grandmother and myself talked to her to try to get her to go to the doctors. And she said, I'll go tomorrow. Tomorrow never came. So, yeah, I'm the oldest of 8 siblings. Yes, I'm the oldest. And I was 13 when this happened, shy 13. And in my heart of hearts, I can see my mother saying, it's on you now. You have to raise your brothers and sisters. You have to help your grandmother. And my grandmother instantly got emotionally sick when my mother passed away because she was my grandmother's only child. So at 13 and shy, I had to grow up. I had to begin to raise my brothers and sisters. And that's where it started. I got a job at 14 and I have been working ever since that day, raising my brothers and sisters. It's a long story, but we all stayed together. We were separated at one point, got back together. That was my journey. So through that, I had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of obstacles, and a lot of things that I didn't really get to be a child that I manifested within myself. And I had these ideas of who I was. But that person always was kind of stuck back into that little girl. So I felt there's got to be other people out there like me that's dealing with a lot that has a mask. I had to wear a mask. I had to walk around like I was this confident person with this huge smile, and everybody was attracted to this confident woman. And inside I was crushed, where I came home and cried every night because I didn't know who I was. That's what's been my driving point. And number one was to make my mother proud of me. And then just to know that I can make it. And if I can make it, I know there's several people out there like me. I want them to know that they can make it too.
Got it. Got it. All right. So you said a lot right there.
I know. I didn't know I was going to go all the way there, but that's what prompted me.
Thank you. I know that's probably not easy to share. So give an example of you're 13 years old or 14 years old. What type of job do you get? And how long did you stay there? And talk us through some of the different jobs you've held as you, went from high school to other things.
Sure. Actually, I was 14 years old. I'm from Brownsville, Pennsylvania, a small country town with one stoplight. And I got a job at a company called Fisher's Big Wheel. And when I got that job, it's out of business now. Not too many people even heard of it, but it was a retail store. And I got a job as a cashier, but because I had to grow up so young, I was very independent at a young age. Excuse me. So I got the job as a cashier. But while I was cashiering, the manager saw something in me, and a year later, they moved me up to the cash office. I'm 15, and I'm over the cash office. So that's where it all started in retail. And I've been in retail ever since. So it started there. Then after that, I got a job working actually for my uncle. He had a lounge, a bar and lounge. I got a job with him being his manager over everything. So he brought me in as his manager. I went from that to that in management, but over a club. That was the wrong thing for me at the young age. But I'm going to move on. From there, I was in retail the whole time. I got a job with AJ Wright's, and AJ Wright's was the baby store of TJX Corporation. So AJ Wright's closed, and then I went to Marshall's, and I've been there ever since. So I've been with Marshall's for 21 years as a store manager for Marshall's. So I've been in retail from the time I was 14 until now, or in a position of customer service. Let's put it that way.
Got it. Wow. Okay. And Marshall's is a huge.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, and then you started your business while working for Marshall's?
Yes.
And then
I'm still working for Marshall's even now. Yes.
Got it. Okay. Where does the book fit in? Talk to me a little bit about the book, because I saw it on Amazon, and it's got some really good reviews on it. So I want to check it out. But to talk to us a little bit about what prompted you to write it? Because writing a book is no joke. I mean, it takes a lot of time, effort, energy, just from editing, writing the manuscript, submitting it to a publisher, all those kinds of things. So what was the idea that prompted you to embark on that undertaking?
Sure. Well, the book manifested in me years ago, actually decades ago. And I felt that God was calling me to share my story to encourage others. Right. However, I went through periods of self-sabotage, of imposter syndrome, where I didn't feel there was, who wants to know my story? Who am I, a small country girl? So I went through all of that, where at one point in my life, it was probably 4 years ago, I went through counseling. I knew that there was something still in me that was that little girl that never got to be a child, that was keeping me from being my best. And I needed to deal with that. And as I was working through that, I was still working at Marshall's. I was still trying to figure it out. What am I called to do? Who am I called to serve? And it was like God wouldn't let me forget that he told me that I was to write this book. And I'll never forget it. I was at work, I was working, and something happened. I worked for different locations in Marshall's, where I was the one that they would call on. I guess I can say I'm a trendsetter because I was the one they would call on to go to different stores to get them cleaned up. So I'm in this store and I'm working, but at the same time, I'm dealing with a lot of internal brokenness myself. And I'll never forget, I was at my apartment and I'm crying out to God, you know, why? Why am I still going through this? And he gave me a title, Beautifully Broken. That was at a point where God was showing me, I'm not just broken. Stop calling myself broken. I have been beautifully broken to the point that I can help someone else who has been in similar situations that I've been in, who's jumped and fought and leaped over obstacles. That's where the title first manifested. It was 3 years ago. And being completely transparent, I went back and forth with the imposter syndrome, that I wasn't good enough to do this. But I have something inside of me that God put inside of me, that a never give up spirit. And I've always wanted to help other people, especially women. I think I'm drawn to helping women that is somewhat like myself. You know, grew up in poverty. All odds was against me. But here I am. I'm still thriving. I'm never going to get up, like a lioness spirit. And so I believe there's so many women out there like me that I had to write this book, because in my mind, I had to ask myself, if I don't do it, what's the cost? And if I do it, what's the cost? And if I didn't do it, there's people that's been waiting for me to come out and share my story. And I could hinder them from being the best version of themselves. And if my heart has always been to help someone else, then that was selfish of me. So that's how the book came about.
You know, it's so interesting because I interview CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. I interview small business owners, attorneys, physicians, and small business owners like yourself. And what's interesting is at the end of the day, we're all after the same thing. We want to generally serve others.
Yes.
Makes us feel that we have purpose, right? Not everybody's like that, but yes, I think that most people are basically good. And it's just interesting that no matter what socioeconomic background you look at, what demographic you look at, there's that sort of strength and will to not only prove others wrong and say, hey, I can do these things, but saying, okay, not only can I do them, but if you follow some of my story and what I've shared, you should find the strength within yourself to do that. What's the title of the book and where can they find it?
So the title is Beautifully Broken. And the subtitle is How God Took My Broken, Shattered Heart and Brought Forth a Lioness. Yes. And they can find the book at Amazon. It's also at Barnes and Noble.
Okay, amazing.
Yes.
Now, talk to us about your business. Who do you serve? What type of clients are you looking for, et cetera? If you're looking for clients, talk to me a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking for me. So I have been through so many different things, and I don't share this because I'm proud of it. I share this because I need to be transparent and share my heart. So I have been through where my self-esteem was so low, but everybody thought that I was the most confident woman they ever ran into. So I'm hiding behind a mask, and a lot of us women that had to grow up, take care of our families, be the woman and the man in the household. I've been through 2 divorces. I'm not proud of that. I've always felt that I was going to be that one who got married, stayed married, and, dreamed of that white picket fence. Didn't happen. I still have hope that God will bring my Boaz in my life. I have been through where I partied a lot, I drank and went out and done all of these things. I've been through molestation. So the list goes on and on. Although I've been through all that, I know that God has always been there looking out for me, has been protecting me. I didn't know that for a long time. I can honestly say that the reason that I was divorced twice, had a long-standing relationship prior to divorce, 14 years, but didn't get married. I've always been out there looking for love, looking for someone to validate me, just love me, right? And I found that in God. I found my value, my worth, my everything in God. I didn't need anyone else to validate me. I validate me. God validates me. And so once I found that, that's when the real me can really come out and stand boldly in my lioness.
And so you weren't always a person of faith. Is that?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I was not. My grandmother brought us up like that. My grandmother started us in the church. My grandmother, when I think about her, it reminds me of a lioness, that fierce defender of their family and of their loved ones, right? She would have us in church no matter what. Like, my grandmother was the type that even when it was lightning outside, she would say, "You cannot talk. God is doing his work." We were not allowed to talk in our home. We had to sit there and just be still. She brought us up like, you do not engage with no boys, with no man, unless they want to marry you. If this is really, I think about this and I just smile. She made us believe that if we even kissed a boy, we was going to get pregnant. So that was my grandmother. But I literally, it was a pivotal, got tongue tied on that. So literally, the moment that I feel was the biggest change in the direction I was going was I was so tired of running from me. And I had a girlfriend who kept trying to get me to go to Bishop Macbeth's church in Norfolk, Virginia. And I would always say, nah, that's not for me. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And it was one day, I'll never forget it. I had gone out the night before and I was just in this mood and mode and mindset and frame of, I'm so sick of this life. And I called her and told her I wanted to go to church with her that day. And I'll never forget it because it was so strange to me because I had been to clubs where you were waiting in this line to get in, but I had never gone to a church where you had to wait in line to get in. And I was like, what kind of church is this, right? We literally was waiting in this line to go get into the church. And as Bishop Macbeth was teaching and preaching, I will never forget this as long as I live. I felt like he was personally talking to me. He said, "You tried everything." He said, "You tried buying new furniture. Every time you got upset, you went and bought new furniture." And I'm thinking, you tried to feel that you were going to find what you wanted in a man. That didn't work. I'm like, you tried to drink yourself till you didn't even know who you were. He was going on and on and on. And the next thing I know, tears flowing down my face. I'm walking up to the front. I don't even know if he called anybody. I just, like an outer body experience. And I walked up there and gave my life to Christ that day. And the reason why I'll never forget it is because when I got home, when I feel strongly about something, I'm all in. I'm going for it. This is going to work. So I said, I gave everything that I had out in this world. I'm going to give everything to God right now. And when I tell you, I cleaned out everything in my house. I couldn't even give it to my friends. It was like God was saying, throw it in the garbage. Clothes, alcohol. I wouldn't let my children watch anything on TV that wasn't, for them. It was like I did this 180 so quick that everybody was like, what is going on with her? And that's when I started my journey to self-discovery and learning that I was enough. And I want to share that with other people that don't feel like they're enough.
Understood. And do you have a coaching program that walks people through sort of now you did it the hard way, right? Clearly. Now, it seems like what you've done is you've put together a process or a step-by-step workflow that people don't need to necessarily go through all of those things. You've done all the hard work for them,
right?
By choice. So what kinds of, if somebody's out there listening, going through similar things, whether it's, some of the unspeakable things that you talked about, or just the day-to-day of being a single mom and et cetera, sometimes they feel judged even by their loved ones.
Yes.
And the reason I think they should turn to you and just reach out to you and schedule a consultation is because you, having gone through everything, and I'm sure you've heard everything from other women as well that you've worked with, you're not there to judge. You're not there to. So what can they expect when they reach out to you? What's the process?
First of all, I want to say that what you can expect is total honesty, transparency, and someone who has most likely been where you are and have got to a place of where you probably want to be. You can expect me to be there for you as that partner to get you there. Yeah. I would suggest that purchase the book, read the book so you know who I am. And right now, well, let me say this. The book is on Amazon, Beautifully Broken, Deborah Blakey. Right now, I am writing an outcome journal. Okay. In my outcome journal, it's going to go alongside with the book, and it's going to have different steps that I took. So I'm taking it to the next level right now, and I'm putting together an outcome journal that's going to give you different steps. So that's going to be coming probably towards the end of June, and I'll start talking about that when it's get closer to release date. But you can contact me at contact@iamlioness.info, and we can talk there. You can just reach out, let me know that you want to have a consultation, which is a 15-minute free consultation.
Okay, wow, that's awesome. All right, so again, congrats on all your success and what you've been doing, just reaching milestone after milestone. What's next on the horizon for Deborah? What are you looking at in 2024? Have you outlined what your goals are for the next year?
I actually have. I think goal setting is extremely important. And I see myself as a keynote speaker. Okay. Talking about goal setting and referring to my book, Beautifully Broken, because without the goal setting, it would not have manifested. But I was taught that. I didn't just, wake up one day and say, oh, this is what I need to do. I was taught from a coach. I believe that any coach should have a coach. So I had a coach along the way. I'm under Dr. Darius Daniels right now. He is my coach and my mentor. So I still have a coach because I feel that we all evolve daily. And as I said before, have always been on a mission to better myself. I'm going to stay on that mission. And my goal is to reach at least 1 million people that I can help. Yeah. My ultimate goal is to serve other people. Yeah. However God leads me in that servant arena, that's where I'm going. But I see it as a keynote speaker. Okay. And I don't say that with extreme confidence. I say that because I know that that's what I'm called to do.
Love it. Well, you always seem confident to me, so I can't tell. So listen, Deborah, Beautifully Broken is the book, available at Amazon. Go look up Deborah on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Beautiful person inside and out. I just thank you for your time. I know that this will inspire others. It certainly inspired me. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Take care.